I hope you're all doing very well on this fine day. Today we're going to be going from KSEA in Seattle, Washington, all the way over to KJFK in New York. We're looking at approximately 5-hour-long flight with storms at both our departure and destination. However, these are going to be mostly broken up clouds, so I'm not too worried about either one of those issues. So we're going to be flying an A330 today, which is a mod. So hopefully things will go well with it and we won't run into too many problems. Even if something does go wrong, I don't think I'm going to have too much of a problem since I've flown this plane before. I have a little bit of experience dealing with it. So let's go ahead and get the plane ready to go. So let's go ahead and hit those batteries and get some power going. And then let's turn off that noise. Where's that coming from? The doors. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and connect up our external power so that we can get ready for boarding passengers. Alright, let's get ready for taxi. Let's get the lights on. Nav lights are on. Let's get the seatbelt sign going. So we're going to start up the APU now. It's basically a little engine in the back of the plane that generates power for us. With that started up, let's get off of the external power now, and then we're going to go ahead and turn on the rest of our lights. Let's also go ahead and start up the fuel pumps so we can get the engine started in just a moment. We're going to turn on the APU bleed, which is going to generate some air pressure for us to turn on the engines. So now we just have to turn on the engines. We'll start with engine 2. So looking at the data here, engine has started up successfully, so we can move on to engine 1. With both engines successfully started up, we can now get ready for taxi. We're going to go ahead and ask for pushback. Normally you're supposed to start the engines after pushback, but I kind of forgot, and it's not really a big deal, so we're just going to go along with it. Okay, we are ready for taxi now. And just turn that back to normal. And we can go ahead and turn off the APU and the APU bleed. Alright, let's put a little power in the engines and we can go ahead and start taxiing over to our runway, which is going to be to our left. Let me just quickly make sure everything is configured for our takeoff and our arrival. Sometimes the nav pages don't work properly, so it's best to check this stuff quickly. Alright, we're pretty much ready to go at this point, so we're going to put a little bit of power into the engines to see how they are running, and then we're going to go ahead and take off. Alright, so the takeoff was pretty nice actually. It wasn't too bad. I did think it was a little too shallow, so as you can see we're still gaining speed, so I'm pushing it up a little bit to get that under control. So we're gonna let the autopilot handle throttle. Oh dear. It really wants to speed down. Yeah, this is why sometimes what I do is I set the speed myself, but usually the autopilot on the A320 is pretty good. Unfortunately, the A330 is still very much in beta, so some of the time you get weird errors like this. But we're just gonna go with it for a little bit. I think I may end up changing the speed though if it doesn't pick up after a while. So the autopilot, for whatever reason, managed to turn itself off after I had turned it on already. So because of that, you can see that we're a little bit off course, but it shouldn't be really a problem. We'll be back on course in no time. In other news, we're actually almost at our cruising altitude, so we're still going very well. No problems as of yet, which is very good because oftentimes autopilot issues can show themselves right about here during the ascent phase. Either things start becoming really weird and start vibrating, or things just go rapidly out of course. But so far it looks like we're still good. So the engines are starting to turn themselves down now because we've pretty much reached cruising. We're just about to in a second anyway. So at this point we pretty much can let the plane fly itself, where it's going to be a pretty long flight, 5 hours long. Looking at the map, we're not even close. You can't even see the end obviously. So yeah, it's going to be pretty fun. We're going to see a lot of fancy looking clouds, lots of cool little things in there. Turn off the seatbelts. And yeah, enjoy. So we're about 180 nautical miles away from the airport at this point, so we need to start descending ourselves down. So everything is pretty much set in the flight computer, so the VNav should pretty much handle all of it. However, just in case, we're gonna have to kind of do it in a controlled way so we don't end up falling really far down. So we are currently at 39,000 feet in the air. So it's going to be a little while before we get down. So I'm going to put that music back on because that music was really awesome. So we are pretty close to landing at this point. As you can see, we just have this final little turn to do next to that little beach. But the problem is that ILS hasn't shown up yet. Now ideally I wanted to do an ILS landing since I knew it was going to be really stormy here. But looking at the weather right now, I think that we should be able to pull off a manual landing, given that we have good visibility. If the visibility is too low, we may have to just turn around. But we shall see. So I'm getting the flaps ready, I'm getting everything ready, everything should be fine as long as we do this well. But yeah, if things go too poorly, we'll just do a go around. I actually landed here twice before, and one of them was a very long flight from Los Angeles all the way to here in a Boeing 747. That was a really cool flight, I have to say. But my favorite part was seeing this weird beach, just this weird strip of land with just a beach on one side. It just looks very cool, for sure. And the landing, of course, is equally beautiful because of that. Just these bodies of water in between all this land. It's just a really beautiful and mesmerizing sight to see as the land gets closer. So at this point we should be pretty much lined up with the runway despite us not having ILS, but as you can see there is very little visibility. We're stuck at 2,000 right now because that's just what's in the flight plan. We're not going to descend until the flight plan tells us to, but we have a literal cloud in our face, so I may end up doing a go around and try to figure out what went wrong with the ILS, because right now I can't see a thing. Well, on second thought, it looks like it's clearing up a little bit. Maybe we'll get a visual right after that waypoint that we're heading towards right now. I'm hoping that's going to be the case, because I don't want to end up taking longer on this flight than we already have. It's already been a long 5 hours. So I'm going to get myself prepared for landing, and in the worst case scenario, we'll just figure it out from there. Also, I'm doing the speed myself because I don't really trust the autopilot. This thing has failed the speed stuff at least 3 times so far. So we're just going to manually put down the speed. It shouldn't be a problem. I searched it up and it should take about 155 knots for landing. So hopefully that's correct. If it's not, then well, we may float a little bit. But assuming I remember to turn off the auto throttle, we should be fine. Okay, we're dipping down a little bit too much. Not sure what's causing that exactly. Okay, I need to pull up. Alright, come on, come on. We need to pull up. There we go. Okay, we just needed to disengage the autopilot. I was hoping to keep the autopilot on for a little bit longer, but I guess that's not going to happen. I have to say, weather-wise, we're actually looking very good. The wind isn't too bad, at least it's not causing any problems for me. And it is a little bit difficult to see, but I think I can see the runway strip right now. Since we're doing a manual landing without ILS or any sort of guidance, we're going to have to look at the PAPI lights. And, okay, perfect. So the clouds just cleared up, so we can totally see it now. Well, we're pretty much on course, so we should be fine. We're getting pretty close to the ground. Let's get ourselves prepared, geared down, and speed is checked. And yeah, let's do this. What is that? Landing gear not down. But I just put it down, unless the landing gear froze or something. Oh, it's definitely coming out. It's just slow. That's annoying. Okay, here we go. We're pointed a little bit away. we're gonna have to correct it very slightly, because sometimes if I overcorrect it just goes insane. Gonna use the rudder a little bit too. So the wind is pretty much directly behind us, so that's not gonna be a problem. We're a little bit close. There we go.
50, 40, 30.
Perfect. Well, okay. We're floating. We're floating. Let's kill the engines. Let's let it slowly land down. Okay, reverse screen. Well, we pretty much used up the entire runway, but that was actually not too bad of a landing. Alright. Let's just, 60 knots. Okay, let's turn that off. And, yeah, let's get ourselves, stopped. Actually, all in all, this wasn't a bad flight at all. I mean, the landing could have been, you know, a little bit better, but it was very smooth at the very least, so it was, butter, just it took the whole runway. So, I mean, I guess it wasn't a complete loss. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and taxi all the way. Having a little bit of frame drops, so I may skip out on the footage here. Alright, so we're safely here. Let's get everything turned off. Apparently the seatbelt signs are already off. So, yeah, there's that. And, let's get ourselves, get ready to get connected to the gate. Let's turn on external power. So now we can go ahead and turn off our engines. So that's pretty much it for the flight. We safely made it here. We have deboarded all the passengers. Everything went really well. So this is the part where I have to thank you for watching this far, if you actually made it. And if you want to watch some more of this stuff, make sure to subscribe and make a comment maybe. This is the first time I've actually made a video like this, at least this cinematic. So if you guys like this video, I'll make some more. So anyway, that's going to be it for me. Thanks for watching.